Let's roll the footage again. Ah. All right.
That is jamming. Hey.
Yeah.
It seems like we like to party.
Hey. Because we like to party. Okay. Any day is a good day for a party.
That's right.
So we're live early birds here. Converse with the Mamas. Welcome in. Join us on the podcast series that's also up on the playlist as well. I am one busy mama, and this is
Wellness with Frugal Mama.
Get it? All right now. So if you missed us last week, you weren't, seeing things. We were supposed to be there, but life happens, right? So we're back full effect with a great conversation. Notification squad I see is in here. Amazing.
In the field.
Morning. Edward. Okay. Yeah. You like 6 hours or something behind. We in this thing. Yes. E-money. King Akil. Okay. Sue, welcome in. The conversation for today, because we want to jump right in and get as much as we can get in while we can, is do women have masculine energy? And I did put up a poll, so feel free to check that out. Hey, Mr. Terry, Crafty Leo, Patty's. Oh, thank you guys for coming in. Masculine energy.
Are you here? You know what? It's just like one of those shock jock type of statements nowadays. Oh, she's so masculine. She had masculine energy. He feminine. He had feminine energy. And people don't even understand the difference between masculine and feminine, or we haven't like established the rules on that.
Or even masculine toxicity is a new catchphrase.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything has to be broken down into gender specific identity roles and not understanding that how biology basically works.
Exactly.
I'm going to break it down to the scientific
Thank you.
DNA because that's where I like to go, but with all that scientific talk and stuff, there's also environmental, but let's just break down what it means to have masculine energy, right? So women or females are born with 2X chromosomes, which identify that they are a female with female sex characteristics. And men or boys are born with an X and a Y chromosome. And the Y is the male version or the male counterpart or the male, let's say, donation, right? And the X is the female donation. So mom is X, dad is Y. That's how that works down on the egg. So we all have X in our chromosomes, right? Our DNA, our structures. So what does that mean? Are we all female then? Or are we a combination of our parents genetically, right? So the definition I'm Googling here is on medium.com, just in case anybody wants to reference. We all have masculine and feminine energy in our energy bodies. The masculine and feminine energy has nothing to do with gender, and both males and females can tap into both essences. Typically, one of these energies is dominant. You may recall a friend who is male, but he doesn't struggle to express his feelings, right? That's just an example. I can give other examples. So when they say a female has a lot of masculine energy, I'm just giving examples. You guys can chime in the chat. I love it. I appreciate it.
Please feel free.
Yes. Women with too much masculine energy show excessive masculine energy traits such as competitiveness, aggressiveness, and dominance. These are just typicals. This is not, all encompassing. She is often very independent, goal-oriented, and directive. She is usually not very emotional or expressive and can be quite harsh and unyielding. This is according to by Kate Interacts, okay, .com. So what do we think?
We have a lot of comments already in the chat, and I want to say hello to everybody because I couldn't type it all in. I was trying to share and do all the things, but like you said, like the masculine energy that I typically see as, or the masculine attributes that I think people tie to energy, is logical. And like you said, we all have both masculine and feminine energy because we come from, our DNA dictates that. You know what I'm saying? It's no way around it. But like you said, the masculine is, like focus, driven. That's what we typically tend to associate with a masculine individual, right? So I mean, I'm just saying, speaking for myself, and we'll come on, go through some of the notes. And a feminine energy tends to be more passive and creative, and that type of thing, more nurturing type vibes going on. So to specify that a woman has this masculine energy is to say, to me, is saying that they don't fit into the classic mold of what is expected based on social norms. With that being said, nature dictates what type of attributes have to dominate in a specific circumstance. So if I have to be at work, and I work in engineering, and in a largely logical field, then I may exude more masculine qualities because it's more logical. It's not emotion. It's not associated with what we typically associate with feminine qualities or attributes. Okay, so you want to go through some of the comments?
Yeah. So okay. We got some good ones. So Celestial mentioned that she had too much testosterone hormones. I'm going to get into further down. She said a hormone imbalance can cause opposite energies. And then King Akil said, I think women can't really be masculine because biologically you need a high level of testosterone to truly be masculine. That's why we use words like energy to describe certain behaviors or qualities. I like that. Let's see. King Akil, I saw a video where a woman took a high dose of testosterone, and all she could think about was effing every dude around her, dudes she didn't find attractive. That's funny. Crafty Leo, I'm a Leo. We are all well-rounded, honestly. I know not everyone believes in horoscopes. Yeah. I mean, I like how everybody's putting it and giving like a sense of it. More of it is about vibes, energy, and the attitudes that you put off rather than actually being masculine. I also want to put my opinion out there that I think that a lot of these phrases and catch terms are 99% derogatory towards the group of people that they are targeting. So like when you say a female or a woman has masculine energy, you're almost putting her down in a way to say that she's too aggressive or she's too independent or she's too assertive or too controlling or whatever the case may be. However, what happened to looking at things in a positive perspective? You know, not every man is a leader, right? And not every female is nurturing. That doesn't make them not a man and not a woman, or vice versa, or however you want to put it. It doesn't make them less than. I feel like not everybody can be the same way. So sometimes you do have to be assertive and dominant and be that leader, especially, let's say, if your partner is not, whether it's a male or a female. You know, not that you can't have two nurturing and loving people, but typically not everybody fits into a mold or the societal norms. And all of that stuff is changing, whether we like it or not, whether we want it to or not. You know, things really do change. Crafty Leo said those men want you to be submissive and nothing else. Zero other attributes. Okay, I wanted to say that too, because I feel like that word submissive comes from, and I could be wrong, a biblical reference. And I'm not going to quote scripture. I just know that a lot of people do that when they want to sort of present their case as to where somebody in society should be and kind of sit back and be quiet. And submissive, I feel like, is another derogatory word. While there are plenty of women who want to be submissive to their counterpart or like the idea of being submissive, I also feel like it has a different connotation to it, where it makes women less than and kind of under the table and go back in the kitchen sort of conversation. And I think that we are 1,000 years away from that. Not to mention that that's not like a thing either. Like you can't pinpoint and say like, oh, in the U.S. we are this way. Culturally, I don't think there's really any norms in this country. But if you look at other cultures and countries, sometimes women are leading the pack, you know, and they have women presidents. So are they ahead of us or are they behind us? Or are we like, you know, just comparing nothing to nothing? That's my thing.
And sometimes women who are not as their more feminine qualities such as nurturing, they don't have it. Honestly, like because of their environment or how they were raised, they don't have the compassion. Like, you know, like you see people and you see women, they treat their kids like crap. That's like not what we typically expect from a woman or a feminine being. You know, it's so hard to even have conversation now because everybody's offended about everything. If you say, hey, I'm a woman, oh, you're not a woman, that's your gender, that's your this, that's that. Listen, I'm going back to we have male, female, and then you have everything that is under the umbrella is just, okay, these are my qualities, these are your qualities, and that's basically it. So it's so hard to even have a conversation because everybody is easily offended, even though I could just be expressing how I feel. So in order to be whole individuals, one has to be in tune with their whole self. You know what I'm saying? You cannot be overly emotional in all cases. You cannot be we shouldn't always, be overly anything, over emotional, overly logical, over whatever. We need to bring those qualities together to make sound decisions. You know what I'm saying? And so when we when media, mostly social media says, okay, this is how you're supposed to act. Everything is dictated by TV. That's why I was looking at this documentary about food, and there was no sound evidence about different diets and what they do and how to lower blood pressure, diabetes, all that kind of stuff. But since the media put it out there that you need to be doing XYZ, that's what people ran with, even though the information wasn't scientifically backed. So with that being said, I think if we stop looking at this as masculine and feminine and says, hey, what helps us be better people, I think that would solve a lot of these issues, because it like you said, it is so easy to throw everybody in a bucket. If you do this, then that's masculine. If you do this, this is feminine. Okay, well, what about if I meet you somewhere in a minute? What is that?
Yeah. There's no real category for that. That's why I think that they do it, is to make like these polar extremes, which don't really exist. I mean, there's a spectrum for almost everything. So, like you said, sometimes people are not, one way or the other. Let's see. Edward said sometimes women have to display the masculine energy in the workplace to compete and survive. King Keel said, men don't want women to be submissive and nothing else. It's a direct response to masculine women. Men want them to be softer. And then Crafty Leo said, definitely that. They want you silent. And it's not an all thing. I know sometimes we jump on talking and then we say like all, but really it's not. We know that most people understand that it's not all. But using terms like submissive, I think has a negative connotation or a negative disposition, in my personal opinion.
But what gets me is that some men and some women, because there's some women out there that want folks to they man to be submissive. Like what? I mean, like this is different. Hey, but if it works for you, that's not my business. But when men are, I'm gonna speak specifically on men, because this is what we see most often when men say, and King Akil just was talking about it. Men they don't want them to be submissive; they want them to be more soft. And so a lot of times you say, okay, well, what does soft look like? And what we're describing are feminine qualities, right? Or am I wrong? And so a lot of times, or sometimes there are cases, and one of our favorite people on here on YouTube, Don Easy TV, he talks about how some women he is in a position in his life where he's stable, but he said that some of the women don't find that he has the financial stability for him to be able to lead. And we talked about this in the last, I think the last Converse with the Mamas. And I think if the men that I know, even if they broke, they still lead. Like there is it's not about what you have, it's about who you are. So if you are carrying yourself in a way that would dictate that someone would say, okay, I could, this person is good at finances, fixing stuff, and cooking. Okay, well, what can I bring to the table? Taking away the masculine, feminine, or whatever, because you may be male and typically cooking is a feminine type of activity, but you're great at that. So let's take your strengths, my strengths, and let's make this a power thing, not just this is what a man's supposed to do, this is what a woman's supposed to do, or this is what a feminine being, or this is what a masculine being is supposed to do. Because you may not be good at that. You may be a man, but you don't know how to work on no cars or whatever. But you may be good at something else. So why don't we look at that holistically versus this type of dynamic? Because like I said, my brothers and we all know people who you know, fit the mold of what we are typically accustomed to when it comes to masculinity and femininity. You know what I mean? So with that being said, let's check the comments again.
Yeah, Remiel, the angel of purgatory, said some women say we are too hard, so we have to be soft to prove we can be. I want to like circle back to something from my own experience. And then GA said, okay, hold on. GA said I wanted to get that, and then I'll put out my opinion. Where was it?
But I think there was I think there was a environmental shift when women went into the workplace. And so if we look back in time where they, you know, women stayed at home, they still were business people because you had to run the entire house. You know what I'm saying? You had to make sure, you know, you had no light. So you had to make sure everything got done before whatever, and y'all on candlelight. You know what I'm saying? So we always being like managers and people. And so when you took us out and says, okay, you know, now we are over here in the corporate America in the workplace. Now we see all the magnificence of what is capable. And so you got to step your game up. Now you're saying, oh, you're too masculine because XYZ. I'm just saying, I don't know.
I do see that point though. Like there's a lot more influx of women. And actually there was a study, I think I mentioned this not too long ago, where boys, specifically teenage boys, are falling behind in high school and girls are accelerating. And the study is so new because it encompasses the time where girls weren't allowed to go to school. So of course, when you start putting girls into school where they didn't have the opportunity before, of course you're going to say that they're accelerated because they didn't have that opportunity. So that means they weren't given the same equity, you know, like. So now you do see a different shift when it comes to the workplace too, because you see a lot more females or women in CEO positions or owning businesses or running things, where women were always in charge of things behind the scenes, you know, when we weren't allowed to work or be in the field or whatever the case is, you know what I'm trying to say? King Akil said, side note, I do the majority of the cleaning in my relationships, but I try my gangster.
Okay, that's why I started laughing.
I mean, it is what it is, right? It did change when women wanted to be the men and not feminine women, said GA. And then Remiel said, I do understand frugal, but some women have a natural stereotype that all women are always hard, and it's not always true. There are stay-at-home dads. They didn't have that opportunity. That's where I'm getting at, is like role reversal here, because you know there are dads and guys out there that are better cooks, are better cleaners, and just do it. You know, it's instinctive to them. But that doesn't mean like, oh, everything's changing. Oh, the dynamics have changed. I mean, they didn't probably even have a chance to cook and clean before because they were the ones that had to go to work and everybody relied on them to be the provider. And now we live in a society where both parents actually have to work.
Let's be 100 right here. When going biological, when we talk about men and women, period. Men, women, not feminine, masculine. Talking about men, women. When this is the debate that a lot of people have when they talk about the transgenders in sports, women's sports, vice versa. And most people who are logical will realize that if you have a Y chromosome in your body, that you should not play in female sports. I don't care what hormones you have put in your body. I understand that you may feel how you feel or whatever the case may be. I y'all know me. I love everybody. I don't care who you are. You can be a frog, a rock on the ground. I love you all. Okay. I don't care about that. I'm not prejudiced, racist, biased, none of that. Sexist, none of that. The simple fact remains that there is a biological difference between a man and a woman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, and I'm be like, wait a minute, I'm being got the page shut down. But seriously, and we can't take away that dynamic, because with that Y chromosome comes certain things in most cases. That's the thing. That's why I say men fighting on women. It's like, and they say, oh, I see women beating up men all the time. That's rare, and most of the time a real, I shouldn't say that. Shut up, girl. You got to make sure you're politically correct on here too. Most men that I know will withdraw before they will, attack or fight back a woman. You know what I mean? Or they will hold them down because they know that they are typically physically more strong. There are some people, we ain't going on the
the exceptions.
Yeah, we ain't going with the exceptions. Yeah, exactly. But as soon as you say that, oh, you're not inclusive, when you speak to biological facts, then you're not inclusive. But I'm inclusive, dog, so I don't care what nobody say. Okay, right. Period.
And I believe we're not. I think we're trying to like be pinned up against the wall to prove that we're inclusive, but the biological, like you were saying, evidence proves without a shadow of a doubt, whether that person trained in that sport or not, there are genetic markers that, and built, muscles are different in the body structure of a male versus a female based on your biological duties. I don't know how else to say it. Characteristics, responsibilities. Like women have more pelvic muscles and are strapped down there muscularly and vascularly because they have to, or they don't have to, but the body design is made to carry more weight on the abdomen, the belly, the pelvic region, whereas men are more inclined to be built up here. That's more of the norm than the exception, right? Because you could find a bunch of different guys that maybe aren't muscular and a bunch of different women that are super muscular. That's not the average, the norm, the biological standard, right? And that's what we go by in science, is the standard. Otherwise we wouldn't have anything to learn in school, but there are differences. Like Sue just said, when she was in high school, she out weightlifted the boys. Some people are just built, and that goes back towards ancestry, right? How your structure of your people were because of what they had to do in that time and day. But to the point that you were making about, boys and girls being in, what do you call it? Sports. I think that in my opinion, okay, like you could probably be mad, whoever that is that could be mad, because I like everybody, I don't have that spirit of, stereotyping or not liking somebody just based off of whatever they are. And I'm not in the field to do that either,
Right.
But, and however, knowing that women have climbed so high on this ladder and still are climbing to even be recognized in sports, and then to have somebody who is genetically predispositioned and more athletic by built and structure to just come over and say, you know what, I'm stealing that record from you that you'll never get to, because it's not possible for a female to achieve that level, because that is a level of a male, disposition. I'm just going to come over and steal that from you. I feel puts women in a whole different category, that they can never be great at anything, because you just have people coming over that that's fine that you have that mentality that you want to strive for success and do it in your category. That's why women created a category for themselves, or created a category just based off of trans people, where you guys can compete against each other. I don't know, but I feel like, yeah, there's some segregation to it, but men and women are built differently.
Yeah.
That's just the dynamics of it. Like women can certainly do just as much as men, and men can do just as much as women in certain aspects, right? And why can't we just be respectful towards other people because they're good at X, Y, and Z, and this person is good at this? Like they say that women are better communicators than men. It's a learned trait. Women just have the advantage of being better communicators because of history, right? But that doesn't mean that men can't be good communicators, or that women can't be,
And
a
that
better
all
cook.
women are good communicators, because some women don't even want to talk. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you get to the point, and I don't even want to, because like you said, environment. Because like if you work at a call center or you work on that Taco Bell thing or some where you hear constant talking, I mean, you may be more direct because how your environment has shaped you to be. You may not want to get out. Some people, that is a stereotypical thing that has been established in our society, our social norms. You know what I mean? And I think some culturally, people see different nationalities or ethnicities with certain customs, like the women walking behind. But do you do all the things that allow this dynamic to transpire in your environment? If not, don't expect that type of situation. You know what I mean?
And back to the definition, just in case people are just coming in, I read off the definition in the beginning, and it said that women with too much masculine energy show excessive masculine energy traits such as competitiveness, aggressiveness, and dominance. She's often very independent, goal-oriented, and directed. Why is that a negative? I'm sorry. Like, I just don't get it. Maybe because I'm one of those women that is super independent, and I say it all the time, goal oriented. We both are goal oriented up here. And direct. I have to take this. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, indirect, like you were saying. Y'all have some great comments. That's why I'm starting. I think that's an excellent idea because, like you said, the majority of women probably ain't dunking, and you know what I'm saying. So therefore, that accommodation is very good. Prince Philip always walked behind Queen Elizabeth. Exactly, because that's how the culture. It was culture, not because of genetics. It's because of a cultural thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was because she was royal. She had the highest elevation in society, in their society.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you this: there's a lot of queens, a lot of queens in history. Do you think that those queens had more masculinity, were more masculine versus feminine?
No. I don't like breaking it down.
Like, I know you want to.
No, because I feel like women were always managers behind the scene.
Exactly.
So even if they weren't allowed to work, didn't mean that they didn't have the ability already managing a household. So what is not to be like, oh my gosh, she's so assertive. Well, she's taking care of some ratty ass kids. Sorry. And she's got to cook, clean, and have this thing, set in stone and organized and run a routine and manage a schedule and sometimes paying the bills behind, you know what I'm saying? Like using his money out of his account and paying the bills and whatnot. Nobody said anything about those men when they went back into the field and couldn't do anything like pay a bill. Hold on.
Mm. Mm-hmm. And so that's what it is, a leadership role. And I think, like I said earlier, once we take out our expectations of what is supposed to, who's supposed to do what, you can really have very powerful relationships, and say in any relationship, romantic or otherwise, and say, what are you good at, what am I good at, and how can we capitalize on our strengths, you know.
This is like a great conversation, and it's just getting into the crux of it.
And you gotta go.
Gotta go.
Just wait on it.
We're
Yes.
gonna have to do a part 2 of this. I'm in my scrub, so that means I gotta go. So I really appreciate all the feedback and everything. I'm gonna read back some of the comments and definitely bring that to the table the next time we pick up on this. So if you want to segue out of here.
Nope. I see you in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time for the workout with me. That's going to be consistent. And then once we can resume this conversation, y'all tune back in, turn your notification bell on, because we love hearing the input, and make notes after the live stream. So if you think of something, so we can come back out.
Yeah, take some of those comments and put them in after this gets up, because I really am going to read them.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.